Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to 2021. Tuesday the 5th of January, we have the RB4 at Ashton National for Rony's Tuesday's fun race, the 245th Rony's Tuesday fun race. In the commentary box with me this evening is Eoin Harmon. Hi Eoin.
Hi Pete, Happy New Year to you and to all of our Sim Broadcast viewers.
Yeah, we're doing something a little bit different because qualifying has been underway for the best part of an hour. We have 40 plus cars on the server, which is absolutely awesome. We hope to see this level of attendance all year long because, as some of you may know now, we are streaming every single round of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race as well as RTFR XL. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the break after qualifying. Without any further ado, we are going to go straight to the track and see where everyone is lining up in qualifying. So, can you give us a bit of an update? What's the situation on the track right now?
Yeah, so we have lots of space around Aston National. About 40 cars have set lap times so far. Sidus, you will recognise them from the TBO challenge. They have a 1-2 at the minute. But they might have a potential 1-2-3 if Gabor, driving currently in 14th in our number 25 RB4, can get up the order just a little bit. And there are other names many of you will recognise. We have one of the Catillas. I think it's Yanni today. Yanni and Yari, excuse me. They're both here. Timu Sweeney's here. Rony Crumpush himself is here. And plenty more to look forward to, I'm sure, with about 7 minutes 35 to go in qualifying.
Yeah, and it's worth pointing out that the gap at the top is incredibly tight as usual when we have this huge field of drivers, the two Sidus drivers of course leading the field, but by 1/100th of a second between Pauli Peltikangas and Rick Kylel.
Certainly it goes to show you how difficult it is to put in quick lap times, and the margins are so tight even in a 2-minute plus lap. It goes to show the skill on offer even in a fun race.
Yeah, so new to this season, the prize allocation is weighted towards the teams competition. The prize pool generously funded by the World Class Lions team. If you missed our preview show, you can find out all the details of the series if you missed it over there, but we will go over it during the break, Owen, so that anybody who's new to the coverage of the RTFR can get all of that information. Today, it's going to be a good year. And if we keep grid sizes like this, it should be excellent. We are only going to be streaming the last 10 minutes of the qualifying sessions because they're an hour long normally, to give plenty of drivers and teams plenty of time to get within the top 40. We have seen more than 40 times registered on the qualifying board, but only the top 40 will qualify through to the main race, which will start at 7 UTC, so around about 16 minutes time. The time to beat at the bottom of the table is 3 seconds. Kai Puro, number 90, is sitting in the 40th position at the moment. 3 seconds off the pace of the Sidus cars in the lead. But yeah, an absolutely staggering amount of cars on the server for the opening round. So this is actually excellent to see.
About hit 5 minutes, and Yaroslav Donelik, if you wanted to pan the cameras to him, his car is in an awful mess at the moment. He must have clattered the barriers at some point. Unfortunately, I didn't see where.
Yeah, that car's not looking particularly healthy, is it? He's still going for another lap. He thinks he's got enough life in his tyres around AS3. 2 very, very long straights. It's some people call this the second oval in Live for Speed.
That's an interesting one, but I suppose with all the straights, you're going to be drafting off each other for a long time.
Born to Race Spiky coming across the line to finish another lap. Let's see if he can improve. Doesn't improve this time, but still P4, only 3/10 off the leading time set by the Sidus cars. Sidus front row right now, and Gabor some way off the pace in P15. another name to watch out for, not on the track at the moment, but Genuine Racing's Unite, not driving for his other team this season, actually representing Genuine Racing. I wonder whether he's going to get any teammates with him for the rest of the year. Team sign-ups will be locked after the end of January, and any points accumulated before then can be backdated into a team's points standings. And then after then, there's going to be specific rules for how you can move between teams throughout the season to make the prize allocation more sensible and to stop people from team jumping. But yeah, we have a lot of different teams already being formed for this year's Rony's Tuesday Fun Race. So yeah, a very different way to run the season this year, but I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to give us plenty to talk about all year long for sure. Maunakasa driving a very bright green RB4, P7 at the moment. Normally someone you'd expect to be driving single seaters and rather than the TBO car, but Rony's Tuesday Fun Race, the format is that every 2 weeks we end up with a different combo and a different car. So it's definitely you don't want to be a specialist if you want to compete and do well in RTFR. You have to be a generalist. It really does separate those who are good at a specific type of car to those who can adapt, and you get 2 weeks to adapt to the new combo. Also new this year, I suppose, is that the combinations are going to be announced a little bit further ahead of time, not only to give us a little bit more time to prepare, but also the drivers. So you'll know the following month's combo at the end of each month, which will give you a little bit more time to prepare if you need it. Now Nakasa does improve. He goes ahead of Fragmaster's number up to P6.
And just about 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the session. So now the bot in the chat says no hot lap time is possible. So if you're not out on track already, you're out of time and out of luck.
There's a song with those lyrics. Yoni Catilla's found himself some traffic. There you go. The traffic moves out of the way, but Yoni Catilla, P13, probably won't be happy with that. The world-class Lions driver who we expect probably to end up at the top of the board somewhere. Currently in P13, 7/10 off provisional pole, which is still held by Pauli Peltikangas. It's okay, he's still got time to set a lap to try and beat that. Cars ahead of him, Race Green's Mandula and Falcon. Those two the highest placed Race Green drivers right now. There's three Born to Race drivers inside the top 10, more than any other team right now. Spiky Reject and Ayoub El Hanouni. Trespasser P11. And young Tommy B, his teammate from the Fox Endurance Series finale, is in P3 right now.
Our very own Elmo for Sim Broadcasts has just put in a 2 minute 8.31, but it's no improvement on his position. He's 35th out of the 40 runners so far.
And if you're paying attention to the stream there, Yoni Catilla got it all wrong out of the final chicane and had to abort. So Yoni Catilla will start outside the top 10 for round 1 of the 2021 season of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race. Not ideal, but anyway. Flashback to the beginning of last year when I kept saying it's going to be a long year. It really is going to be a long year. This is going to be a hard-fought championship this year. But it's a fun race, so hopefully that sort of spirit stays throughout the year and people don't get too heated and still remember to have a good time, because that's what we're here for. Even though things might seem to be a little bit more serious this year with us broadcasting and a very generous prize pool. But anyway, the clock has hit 0, and at some point very soon we will have the final order. Gabor needs to improve on this lap. He's coming round the final major hairpin before the quick chicane at the end of the lap.
Ricardo crossed the line just a tenth short of going on pole. He didn't improve his own time, so there will be no pole position for Ricardo.
Yeah, Gabor's messed it up.
He's
messed it up. Nah. Yeah, so that's not gone well for him. Trespasser did improve. He went up to P5, so he's inside the top 10. That pushes AU out of the top 10. And it looks like Kaipuro is just about holding on to the final spot. 40th place. I can't remember the last time we commentated on a 40-car grid. It was sometime in the middle of last year, I think. So yeah, mega numbers for the first race of the year. Nice one to everybody for jumping on. But I think we can say with a high degree of certainty that Pauli Peltokangas has stolen qualifying away from his teammate as he heads to the pits. So yes, that's it for Pauli Peltokangas. Bumps the end of the pit lane there to take pole position for round 1 of the 2021 season of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race.
Well done to Pauli.
So let's get this show on the road and tell you all about what's coming up in a couple of moments' time. "15 laps of Aston National in the RB4 awaits the 40 drivers who just qualified for the first round of the season. Absolutely mega turnout here. And yeah, what is it that we've got in store for them? Well, let's have a look. Yes, so the RB4 is a 2-litre turbo inline 4 front engine car, 4-wheel drive, generating 243 brake horsepower and weighing in at a little over 1.2 tonnes. Aston National, which is the track we're using today, is 5.6 kilometres or 3.5 miles. We've just finished the hour-long qualifying session. Pauli Peltokangas will start on pole position for the 15-lap race, which will begin in around about 7 minutes' time. Just as a bit of a historical update to anyone who has been involved or not involved in the RTFR over the last few years, last year's champions were Sidus. They took the win in the Drivers' Championship. Botsi very close behind in second place, but Gabor lifted the trophy in the 2020 season. Jan Laprovot in P3, the bronze medal going to him. Michael Malik from MRC, a good showing, in just outside the top 3 in P4. Another Sidus driver, Fast LT, in P5. Genuine Racing's Nika Pantola in P6. Jari Katila, P7. Rony himself in P8. Asker, P9. Teemu Soini, P10. The rest of the top 24 in the 2020 season shown there. And if we turn our focus to the year before that, you can see a couple of familiar names at the top. Botsi won in 2019. Unite in second place. Rick Cardle P3. So again, the Sidus with a good grasp on this season. I think it's good, safe to say there, Owen. Sammy Littman in P4 as well. So hopefully we see him back this year. Magic in P5. Wasn't driving for Race Green at the time, I don't think, but anyway, drives for Race Green now. Rony P6 in 2019. Jari P7 again. Redbot P8 and Fast LT P9 with Soini in P10. So yeah, lots of familiar names that have been doing this championship for a lot of years. And yeah, this year, the series will celebrate its 270th by the end of the season. So that's a lot of races to look forward to. Today we're on the 245th, which is quite a staggering number. And yeah, with a bumper grid. And we hope to keep it that way for as long as possible, basically. If you missed our preview show, then you will also know that we are streaming the RTFR. You won't know that we are also streaming the RTFR XL season, and that will begin at the end of this month at the Kyoto National Circuit with the XRT. That'll be on Tuesday the 26th of January from 10 to 7 as well. Bear in mind that RTFR XL starts slightly later than last year, just so that all of our broadcasts line up, and to make it a little bit easier for the drivers to remember when to turn up and things. So yeah, RTFR and RTFR XL races start at the same time at 10 past 7 UTC. So Owen, let's go through the full order of the drivers for the start of round number 1.
Yeah, let's get it on. Let's see.
Botsy for Sidus will start on pole with Rick Cardle alongside him. Young Tommy B in P3, assumedly without a team right now, but anyway. Born to Race Spikey P4, Trespasser P5, Genuine Racing's Unite P6, Maunakasa P7. Fragmaster's number will start on row 4 in P8. Falcon and Reject round out the top 10, then Ayub, Mandula, Yoni Katila, Kozi, Gabor, Zesty, Kid, Redbot, RD2 and Kinako round out the top 20. Born to Race's Katal Krorkin, or Twin Cam as some of you may know him, starts in P21. Michael Malik P22, Climbs, Lucas, Yari Katila, Yaroslav Donolik, Gum Garage's Derinus, Tim Dicknodder, Nob and Timu Soini round out the top 30. Edgar, Magic, Kig, Classic, Yaroloco, Elmo, Rony, Talha, Rabbit and Kaipuro round out the top 40, and that concludes the 40 car grid. I can't believe it, 40 cars for the first round of this championship. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and Elmo was just in my ear. He says it's possible that Botsy is set his 30th pole position in the history of Rony's Tuesday Fun races. That's some achievement.
Yeah, it's a staggering total. I'm sure he's going to add plenty more to that list of podiums throughout this year. Yeah, he's had quite a good history in this series, as you saw from the historical results we just showed. Yeah, the race is coming up in around about 2 minutes' time. Can Botsy convert his pole position to the race win? Looks like he's going to get some challenge from his teammate. And the drag down to turn 1 is very, very long, Owen, here.
Yeah, it's going to feel like an eternity for these drivers in a mid-range car like the RB4. And the cars maybe on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th rows could have a shot, because we've all seen the RB4 factor in the TBO challenge. So with everybody armed with that same launch, it's going to be very interesting to see if anyone wants to dare make a move from further back.
One minute to go and we are racing. I'm very excited about this series. I'm very glad we're able to broadcast it. We've enjoyed a lot of years of Rony's Tuesday Fun races. I've enjoyed driving in it, so it's good to give a little bit back to Race Green, Autosports and Rony to bring you these events. Obviously, all of the live streams will be available on our YouTube channel after the fact, so that anyone who wishes to watch the races back can do so over there. With 40 cars on the grid, I assume some of the drivers might want to watch their races back, so that'll be good for them. Looks like our entire audience, our entire normal audience, regular audience, are racing. So let's see.
Bit of a potential conflict there.
Here we go then, Owen, for the start of the race. Let's go racing indeed. Botsy lines up on the front row with Rick Cardle right next to him. And we are going for 15 laps of racing here today. Here come the lights. And we're green as 40 cars streak away. Look at the amount of them. This is crazy. I can't remember the last time we saw a 40-car grid at Aston. But as I expected, Rick Cardle, although he didn't get a great start there at all, did he, Eoin? He's some way back off the back of Botsy.
Pete.
This is an awesome sight.
On the
It's all thunder down to turn one.
Spiky.
Yeah. Spiky there for Born to Race. Getting in position. Young Tommy B there in the white RB4, sticking his nose in. But it looks like Botsy has the front of the train as we head out of turn number one then. All sorts of action happening further back. It looks like everybody's making it through cleanly though. Great to see that so far. Getting close up front as we've got Rick Cardle now tucking in behind his teammate. Spiky's gone off. That's a big one for Spiky. He's in the wall.
Bump there. Didn't seem intentional to me, but just a matter.
He's aborted his run. He's out. He's given up already. He's conceded.
Given up.
The race only just over half an hour, but still I think there would have been a lot of places for him to make up. Look at the amount of cars piling into the first hairpin. Unbelievable. Side by side then, Trespasser, he's made his way up to P3. He's on the outside of Rick Cardle, the Dutch driver, and Rick forces him a bit wide there. Young Tommy B, Trespasser's teammate from the racing action here a couple of weeks ago, tucking into the slipstream of that Yes Motorsport livery.
The background, the Yanni Catilla is sandwiched between two bright green cars. Managed to fend off the threat, but he just needs to survey the scene because he's going to brake too early and then be hit from behind, or brake too late and he's going to hit Manu Casa in front, but he gets it just right. Braking, and he's found the inside line here, heading for the next curved corner. He's on the outside with Reject in position to possibly block. And now the final chicane to mark the end of the first lap here, Pete.
Yeah, Yanni Catilla needed a good start and he's had it. He's into the top 10 already. Now he just needs to pick up all the cars ahead of him. He's battling with Mauna Casa, who's driving a very confusing green car with a lot of other green cars around him for race green. But anyway, let's see what Yanni can manage as he heads down to the first corner. Botsy's already got a commanding lead over Rick, and Trespasser with a great start is having to fend off Unite and Young Tommy B. Sorry, and Number. Looks like Yanni has managed to get to the side of Mauna Casa. That's Falcon, who's also with him. Falcon, the green car behind Mauna Casa.
The margins are so fine there. My goodness me.
Yeah, we saw Spiky come a cropper on the previous lap. Luckily, everyone's made it through the kink this lap unharmed. But it looks like Yanni has taken that place, and he'll be up the back of Number pretty quickly.
And Number had to brake very early. He's gone for a bit of a dive, but it's not going to pay off here as the straight will now kick in. That'll give Number the slipstream earlier, but now Trespasser's fallen back.
Yeah, Trespasser got mugged there. He must have had a shocking second hairpin. And yeah, Young Tommy B is back up to third place where he was before. But it does look like Numbers on the charge with Unite in that red and yellow RB4 there. Looking to make some places. New for 2021, Sim Broadcast overlays now have intervals and gaps to the leader of the race, as you can see on your screen. So please make full use of those as you're watching to see how close the margins are between all these guys. Yeah, Young Tommy B, he needs to pull away from Number now to try and close up to the two Siders cars who've basically checked out ahead as we end the second lap of 15. Number looks strong, doesn't he? Look at that. He's got a great exit as the cars funnel through the final chicane. He'll tuck into the slipstream of Young Tommy B now. Pulls out as we head over the start-finish line. Similar situation going on behind between between Reject and Number. Unite, my mistake. Two abreast. Under the Michelin Bridge. As we thunder towards turn number one. What's going on elsewhere, Eoin?
Sounds like a crash on the track. I'm trying to find it. Must have been in the midfield.
Oh, Number's been forced off by
Number.
Young Tommy B. That's not going to be good for his race. Young Tommy B pushed him a bit wide as they went through the first
Panteo's
corner.
a long way back. Something must have happened to Panteo. Didn't see exactly what it was.
Okay, well, Kai started last on the grid anyway, so I guess he just hasn't made up many places, or if he did, he's been shuffled back down.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Number, who's ended up outside the top 10, well outside the top 10 after being forced onto the grass. Botsy's in the lead with a 7/10th lead over Rick Cardle, who took the fastest lap on the previous lap, so these two really are going for it. Young Tommy B in a battle with Genuine Racing's Unite still, and Yoni Katilla up to P5 now with Trespasser behind him, but it's still 3 wide in the background in some places. Falcon and Mauna Casa still side by side in those 2 green RB4s. Cozzy, he's up into the good points positions here. He's alongside Mandula. Mandula driving that 4 players DE old LFS livery there.
Yeah, when in doubt, just pick one of the default liveries.
Oh, and there's contact. Does Mandula manage to get it slowed down? Yes, but only just. And he actually puts on the anchors, and that's going to let Gabor and Ayub catch up, I'm sure. Yeah, look at Gabor. He's fancying a bit of that slipstream.
Not this time though. Gonna get it on the straight.
Yeah, let's see what happens as we head up the straight again. It looks like the gap between Botsy and Rick's opened up to nearly 2 seconds, so something happened to Rick at the end of that lap. It was around about 7/10. It's now 1.7 seconds, so yeah, Rick's been in the tyres somewhere probably, and that means that yeah, the gap to the cars behind will have come down slightly, but it's still a huge gap as Gabor and Mandula scrap into turn number 1.
Off. It's Tommy. Tommy B is off. He's gone off at the first corner. I was watching the 3 wide between Twin Cam, Kid and Number.
What's happened to his car? He's got huge left front damage, and he's from P3. He's now at risk of dropping outside the top 20.
Yeah, he's almost doomed here. He has a chance to settle down here in 17th, but I'd be very worried for him with that damage.
Oh,
he must have
Unite.
made a move. Oh, Unite.
Sorry, yes, Unite nearly got pitched around.
Why goes Number? Just behind in the background there.
Not again.
At the hairpin.
It's disaster for the Fragmaster driver. Yeah, no, he's had an absolute shocker of a race so far. We're on lap 4 of 15, and yeah, he's just going backwards at this point. I was going to say that there was a 4-way battle for P3, and it looked like it was going to be every man for himself out onto the back straight, but some contact between Unite and I think it was Yoni or the Born to Race car there that just stifled this battle, and that's let Trespasser pull ahead. As you can see, Mauna Casa and Falcon still side by side. It seems that this is their perpetual state at the moment, and Reject's getting mugged by I think that's Mauna Casa. Yes, it is. Mauna Casa trying to go round the long way around the outside. He'll have the inside for the chicane if he can keep it there. Reject will have to let him go because you don't want to go too wide through the chicane. Mauna Casa keeps his nose in there and it works. So Mauna Casa up to P6. As we've got cars bouncing over the chicane behind and knocking the tyres out of the way. That was Sidus's Gabor there. And here comes Reject. He's going for the return as we head across start-finish. Side by side they go. Reject not quite enough of his car alongside. But you can see that the margins are so close, and Falcon's got a hell of a run. He's going to be alongside as well if he wants to. I guess he'll just fall behind. Yeah, he does. He thinks better of it. While these two scrap. Reject needs to be careful not to push Mauna Casa wide. And he doesn't. He takes the shallow line, which is good of him. But anyway, that brings the
Unite is in the camera shot there, Pete, because he made a big understeering moment battling with Yoni Katilla for 4th, and now he could be caught by these 3. He thankfully held on with his counter steering, but it could have gone into tears for him.
Yeah, we're heading into this hairpin again, and it's getting close with the 2 green cars and Reject. It must be confusing for Reject to know who's battling with half the time. It's confusing for us, for sure, but there we go. Mauna Casa with the red rims, and Falcon with the white rims. Hopefully these chaps will sort themselves out later in the year and get some skins for their cars so we can work out who they are.
For Gabor, Gjor again here. He's been slow this lap and he got tapped in the bottom corner at the second hairpin, and he's going to fall down into the 20th position.
Yeah, currently
just hanging on in there.
P19. He's stuck there behind FM's number in their new style of livery, actually, for FM for this year. Pretty nice skins there. And there's a race green car ahead. And that'll be Redbot. So Gabor's going to look for the send into the hairpin. He does. Goes very late on the brakes and makes up 2 places there if he can hold it. Redbot will be on the inside for the chicane, but will Gabor yield? This is quite a hot battle right now. Let's see. No, Redbot does yield that position. Meanwhile, up front, it looks like Falcon has made a break on Maunakassa and Reject. At some point on the back straight, we've got Ayoub El Hanouni there for Born to Race, almost 3 wide now, as Kozi in the Chromo livery is pulling up alongside. The great thing about AS3 Eoin that's always happened is because of these massive straights, it behaves like an oval, as I mentioned in the pre-show, and it bunches everybody up in the corners. And if you're in a drafting pack, it's very difficult to lose your rivals. Very difficult indeed. Gap to the lead now, 2.9 seconds as Botsy opens his advantage over Trespasser. The gap between Trespasser and Botsy is huge. It's 7 seconds now.
Jari Katila is involved with a 3 wide. There's contact. Oh, Tim DC's been tapped wide. There was just not enough space to make a move. And Magic will be thanking his lucky stars he wasn't the one involved in the spin, but Jari is now going to take the outside line for the second hairpin. He won't get the overtaken done here as Magic defends.
Yeah, Magic there using a bit of the side of Yari's car to push him along. But yeah, Yoni Katila up to P4.
Yeah, Elmo could have a go in the next drafting pattern. It'll be up into 120 miles an hour territory. It's got to stay on the outside. Just the patience needed here. You really have to avoid a rash movement with your steering wheel on the straights. Now he's just going to probably fall back into position. And here's a look at Kid and Elmo again, of course.
Yeah, I was just noticing that it just seems to be the same situation at the end of each of these straights. We have 2 wide basically everywhere. Anyone who's in any sort of slipstream ends up 2 wide. As we have a car bouncing in the air, that's Michael Malik.
Yep, Michael Malik
clipped the tyres, and that's going to ruin his speed as he heads up the home straight. He's already lost 3 places. I wonder whether Gabor can catch him by the end of the straight. Probably not. But yeah, Michael won't be happy with that. That was a terrible exit onto the most important straight of the track, pretty much. The 2 Born to Race cars are going at it, Owen. We've got Reject and Ayoub knocking each other for 6 as Reject takes back P number 8 from his teammate. Kozi, meanwhile, ahead is being allowed to disappear, and Maunakassa down to P10. We're riding on board with Mandula, who's now looking up the rear of that green RB4 of Maunakassa. Will he think about having a send into the first hairpin? His teammate Falcon is the green car miles in the distance, just going around the corner ahead. Nope, Mandula thinks better of it. But anyway, let's see. Let's run down the order. Botsy with a commanding 2.5 second lead over Rick Cardle. Then it's a further 5 seconds back to Trespasser. Yoni Katila closing in on Trespasser, then Genuine Racing's Unite in P5. Falcon, he's got himself a bit of a buffer to the cars behind. The cars behind include Kozi, Ayoub, Maunakassa now battling with Reject. Then we've got Mandula, who's dropped back even further. Twin Cam there, doing pretty well in P12. Young Tommy B, who's had an absolute shocker of a race. He's down in P13 now. He's battling with Yaroslav Donelik in that rather lovely blue, red and yellow Euro Oil livery. I like that. Kid is just behind in the NDR rescue car livery. It's an odd choice.
Gets a
kid,
run
but
for the first time in a long
yeah,
time.
it's actually in a race, which is fun. Kanako, who did very well at Crashmas earlier in the week, he's in P16. Michael Malik, after that colossal incident in the tyre wall he just drove past on the previous lap, he's in P17. Gabor in P18, number P19 in a battle with Master Race cars Zesty as they go across side by side across start finish. Let's stick with this one for a minute.
Pantheo decided enough is enough. He was miles behind, and we're down to 33 runners after the initial 40.
Side by side they still are as they head into the big sweeping parabolica, and there's more contact door rubbing. You don't want to be rubbing doors there. Number's already been rubbing doors with cars through that corner this race, and that's why he's so far down. He was inside the top 10 at one point. But as a result of contact in the first corner a few laps ago, he's found himself battling to stay in the top 20, and he's gone. He's in the wall.
Hesitation there.
That'll be the end of his race.
That's surely the end, yeah.
Yeah. You can't afford door rubbing at speed in these cars. It just doesn't work. Oh, we've got a little bit of connection trouble for some drivers at the front. I can hear a lot of door scraping around Redbot. Looks like Zesty with a little bit of trouble there. Hopefully that sorts itself out. As in fact it doesn't sort itself out, and Zesty is out of the race. Okay. Let's continue our rundown. Number was around the bottom of the top 20, so we have Redbot in P19. He's in a close battle with RD2, Rally Driver 2, and Magic, his teammate actually. Elmo just outside the top 20, still battling hard with Yari Katilla. They're side by side. And then Climbs often drives with Cozzy in some of the endurance races, so essentially teammates, Climbs and Cozzy, down in P24. As we've lost someone very high up there, Eoin. Don't know if you caught who that was.
I didn't, unfortunately. No, I didn't quite spot it, unfortunately. It's Nico. Nico seems to be
Okay,
gone.
so yeah, Unite for Genuine Racing is out, so something's happened there, and one of the front runners gone. That promotes Falcon up to P5 as Climbs battles to stay ahead of Elmo and Yari Katilla here. Gun Garage's Derenus is in P24. Kig for Master Race Car P25. Rony in P26. Classic P27, Talha P28, Timu Soini in P29, and Rabbit is our final runner in P30. So we've lost 10 drivers in this this race of attrition here. Rick Cardle, P2 still. Has closed up a little bit to Botsy, but you have to say Botsy's looking like he's got this one in the bag as he'll be completing lap 9 in one corner's time.
Elmo was in a fascinating duel with Yari Katilla just a moment ago, but at the first hairpin, it was just a little bit too much to expect to move around the outside. And now Yari has actually gained momentum and is going to go on the offensive against Climbs for 21st position.
We're watching Maunakasa and Young Tommy B. Young Tommy B started in P3, and now Maunakasa, who has been basically at the cusp of the top 10, is fighting to stay in it. With Young Tommy B. Closest battle on track right now, I think, between these two. As we do indeed start lap 10, and there we go, through the tyres. Who's that in the background? That's Yaroslav Donnelly. He can really pitches the car over, and he's collected Gabor in the process. The last corner here is deadly to anyone who's following, especially to anyone who goes through the tyres, but Yaroslav's car was thrown in the air there, and you can see that that's played havoc with his left side suspension, and that's not going to be fun for the rest of the race. But yeah, Gabor now outside the top 25. That's horrendous. and a 5-second gap now to Rony in P25. So yeah, a lot of work for him to do in the last 5 laps. Meanwhile, Yoni Catilla and Trespasser are really close. Wow, Trespasser's close.
Number is out. Number has disconnected as well.
Oh no, so another retirement there. Yeah, I'm going to say this a lot this year, so apologies in advance. It is a long year, so anyone who wants to do well in the championship, they've got a lot of races to make up for any problems that they have. But here we go. This is a battle for the podium between Trespasser in the lovely black, red and blue livery, and World Class Lions Yoni Catilla in their traditional livery, fighting hard. And I wonder if they keep fighting too hard, Race Green's Falcon may end up in the fray for the podium battle. Maunakassa and Twincam in a fight as well. The gap to young Tommy B opened up slightly, and Maunakassa now outside the top 10 in a fight with the Born to Race car. But here comes Yoni. He's going to try it round the outside up the hill as we approach the final hairpin. And can he get the car slowed down ahead? Nope. Trespasser's going to have another bite of the apple as we head down the hill again. And Yoni dropped a wheel on the grass, and that just didn't help his exit at all. So Yoni's next opportunity will come into turn 1 if he can stick in the slipstream through this very, very tricky final chicane. Let's ride on board with Yoni Catilla for a lap of AS3. You don't want to overtake too quickly down this long straight, because if you do, the guy behind you will end up sneaking through. Almost contact there between the two drivers as we head down.
See the outline of the car in the mirror.
Absolutely crazy how close they're getting. There's no need to be that close, really. I mean, there's no side draft in LFS, as far as I know. There might be, but anyway. Braking for turn 1, it looks like Yoni has the overlap, but Trespasser just looking to keep it next to him on the outside. He has to drop back, so Trespasser's next opportunity is going to be into the first of the infield hairpins. Oh, I think he's going to go for it early. I think he wants to get this job done on the straight. He's not going to manage it around the outside, surely not. Let's see what happens into the first of the hairpins. Trespasser on the outside then. Yoni will surely take the first one. He's run quite deep.
Oh, understeer and missed his braking point.
That way, I think Trespasser set that up. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was trying to set Yoni up for a fall there, and it worked. Trespasser almost makes the same mistake, but goes for the tight exit, and that's a good exit. I wonder if Yoni will get close enough. That was excellent by Trespasser there. Good stuff. And yeah, it doesn't look like the gap's quite big now. We will see if Yoni can close this down. This is the battle for the podium, the final podium position. Worth mentioning, though, that Rick Cardle is taking time out of Botsy, but there's still 2.1 seconds between the top two, as you can see, and yeah, I think that's just going to be too much of a gap in the remaining 3.5 laps for Rick Cardle. But Botsy is human after all. He could make an error. They're quite rare, but he could make an error. Yoni's closed back up in the slipstream, but it does look like Trespasser will round out this lap in the lead. And yeah, this being kind of an oval track, whoever's behind on the penultimate lap might end up winning, but that was a shocking final corner from Yoni, and Trespasser has opened up a huge gap now as we head across start finish for the 12th time.
Oh, trouble in the midfield. We have a roll. Michael Malik and Kanako.
Yeah, Kanako on his roof. Well, Kanako was on his roof. He's managed to roll it back. Luckily for him, this car is shaped like a torpedo, so it just rolled over. Has 3 cars behind. That's Derenus, Rony, and Kig stream past Kanako, and he's down to P24.
Yeah, Kanako takes responsibility for that. What was in my vision there, I was looking at Michael Malik. He went wide heading into the chicane. He had the inside line, which then becomes the outside, which forced Kanako to take a dive at the tyres, and it backfired. So it was unfortunate the way that happened, but it was just such a close battle. And it's gone ever so slightly wrong for both the drivers, but Kanako suffers and takes responsibility for it.
Young Tommy B still battling to stay inside the top 10. And yeah, it looks like he's... Oh, there's contact between him and Reject. Reject forced wide again. But yeah, this is the battle for the top 10.
Gabor decided to call it an evening as well, so we're down to 28 runners.
Yeah, it's a new year. It's the first race of the year. People will be a bit rusty after the break, I expect, and I'm just pleasantly surprised that we have a full server, full grid for RTFR. It's always awesome to see. And yeah, some great racing out there. Tight, close racing, as we've got a battle on for P16 between RD2, Rally Driver 2, and Yaroslav Donalik, who's been... Oh, he's had a heck of a race, hasn't he, Yaroslav? His car's been through the wars. Entered the ATC radar at one point
as well, of course.
Yep.
Race green cars just in front of this battle have been going toe to toe, but Magic has emerged better for it than Red Bot. Yeah, they're safely through for the 13th lap, just starting now for the midfield.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. 3 laps to go for Botsy, and the gap to the lead has come down by another 0.4 of a second on that lap. Rick Cardle taking some time out of his teammate, but there's it's still a huge gap when you're lapping this fast. Taking 1.8 seconds out of your rapid teammate is so difficult. Speaking of rapid, Trespass has taken the fastest lap of the race, now that he's managed to drop Yoni Katilla a little bit. So yeah, now that Trespass has been unleashed, he's been able to show us what he's made of and has put in a stunning lap time to take the fastest lap. Whether that'll be beaten before the end, I don't know, but I assume, Eoin, that their tyres are getting quite hot now, and that could open up some spicy stuff in the next 2 laps.
Yeah, the players out in front should definitely be managing their tyres at this stage. They've had to push and push. But any more exertion on those tyres and they could possibly wear out at the worst possible time.
Yeah, so a reminder for everyone out there, we have 2 RTFR races a month, but we also have a slightly longer format, 75-minute races at least, 75-minute minimum races in RTFR XL, the extra-large version of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race. Stay tuned for the announcement for where that race is going to be. We'll talk about that at the end of this race. But it's happening round 1 at the end of this month. If you're interested in the slightly longer racing than this kind of pick-up sprint race format that you're seeing on your screen this evening, 2 short races every month and a longer one.
Rony himself is going to go side by side with Kig in the penultimate corner, the sharp right-hander. It was so close for him earlier in the lap. He has gone wide a second time. I did see him trail off onto the grass earlier, but it didn't cost him position. But now this one leaves him ever so slightly vulnerable for the final chicane against the Gum Garage car of Darinas. Oh, little tap on the curve.
Darinas has got a good run. There. He's got a good run.
Yeah,
here.
He's lost the position here. It's possible to retrieve it though. He could possibly decelerate and get the slipstream back. Yeah, I heard him lift.
Yeah, yep. Rony doing the right thing. But I think he might have done a bit too much because he's going to be under threat from Kanako again. Kanako has rolled the car once this race, and he's still driving. Proof that even if you roll the car, you can still have a battle. So there's no need to quit out of these fun races. And there you go.
Rony, too much.
Kanako made two places
Great
because
moves.
of that. Yeah.
Great pair moves.
Good stuff. Yaroslav and RD2 still going at it with 2 laps to go. Yaroslav currently in the lead of this battle for P16. And he's fighting with Michael Malik, another car that showed up on ATC's radar earlier in the race.
Donalik and RD2 have a slipstream battle on the back straight here. It's the Intel bridge for the 2 drivers to pass through now. That's a move for RD2. Just got to hang in there, keep the inside line. But Yaroslav could make the extra bit of tarmac work for him with the camber. No, not on this occasion. And the final lap for the leaders has just begun. So you got to plan whatever moves you've got in your arsenal now, or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, it's a very tactical track, especially in the dying laps. If you're not in a slipstream battle, it's a little bit lonely, but always Yarda gets it all wrong, and that's going to be crucial for his lap as RD2 flashes his headlights to apologise for throwing the tyres, and yeah, Yaroslav understandably annoyed by that missile that was sent his way. No sign of a lift from RD2, but anyway, it's all fun and games. Rick Cardle's managed to take the fastest lap on the previous lap. We'll see who takes the final fastest lap of the race at the start-finish line. But yeah, Rick currently holding that, and he's brought the gap to the lead down to 1.2. So it is admirable. Botsy could have been managing the pace, not throwing the car too aggressively through the final corner, of course. But we'll see. Rick Cardle is doing everything he needs to do for Sidus. Those guys will take maximum points for their team after this race. So a good start to the year for Sidus. Trespasser, assuming he doesn't join a team, he will be happy with P3, I'm sure, with the two drivers that are ahead of him. And Eoin Catilla there getting some good points if he finishes where he is for the sponsors of the series, World Class Lines. Falcon, the hosts for Race Green, P5. And the first of the Born to Race cars, Ayub, in P6. But all eyes now on Botsy. Paddy Paltakangas comes through the final chicane without any trouble. Rick a little bit more aggressive behind, trying to close that gap. But it's not going to be enough, because Paddy Paltakangas has won the first round of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race for 2021, closely followed by Rick Cardle, his teammate, by, in the end, only 0.8 of a second. So that's pretty epic, actually, that gap at the end. Trespasser comes across line P3, closely followed by Eoin Catilla for World Class Lines. Then it's Race Green Falcon, the first of our very green cars in this race. Next to finish, it's Cozzy.
Mistake at the background. Sorry, Pete. There was a mistake at the background. Red bot, he got tagged by the tyres in a battle with Michael Malik, and he's going to lose 15th position, I think that was. It's a shame.
That is a shame. Mandula crosses the line in P8 then, with young Tommy B, after dropping from P3, finishes in P9. Kid rounds out the top 10. I think we'll hear from Kid in a few moments' time. Maunakasa finishes P11 in the end. Magic P12. Reject P13. RD2 finishes P14. Michael Malik P15. Yaroslav Donlik finishes P16. Yari Catilla finishes P17. Elmo finishing in P18. Climbs in P19. Kanako P20. Redbot P21. Kig P22. Derinus P23. Rony himself in P24. Timu Soini P25. Talha P26. And I think we're just waiting for a couple more cars. We had quite a few people drop out, but yeah, here come the final runners. Rabbit for Master Race Car and a limping Born to Race car of Classic. Our 28 finishers of round 1 of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race 2021. I think that was quite a good success there, Owen.
Indeed. We saw the sort of photo finish for 25th. Came down to 0.03 of a second, so even down at the back you can still have plenty of excitement. But well done to Team Sidus. They've set the marker that everyone has to meet. Obviously would have preferred Gabor to do well, but someone does have to take the bait when you're in a big team like that. But it's a 1-2 finish there, and Trespasser on the podium as an independent would be very pleased with that as well.
Yeah, something rather unique about the RTFR races, as you're about to find out if you haven't watched one before or competed in one before, is that there is a special podium area on every single track, and Botsy, once he navigates the minefield of... Oh, dear. Once Botsy navigates the minefield of cars, he will arrive at the podium. Unfortunately, he got taken out by a Born to Race car there. Not very observant, but anyway. The podium is just up to the right here, I think. And... Yep. Botsy will position his car on the podium.
I think he got some practice in. He was sitting there waiting for qualifying to end, and he was parked on the pedestal.
Yeah, the New Dimension Racing pedestal apparently this week. So yeah, good stuff. We hope to hear from a few drivers. Obviously, our interview room is open, as always, for our broadcast. If anyone fancies coming to talk to us throughout the 2021 instalment of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race, you can do ts.simbroadcasts.tv. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your reactions to the race or any stories from your perspective. Please come and have a word with us. We love to hear from the drivers, don't we, Eoin?
Yeah, that's what makes sim racing so special. We have the drivers who put in their time and effort, and then we get to talk to them, see how they get on. It's always enjoyable.
First interview of the season with our very own Zdeněk Sagash. Kid, welcome to the commentary box yet again. Talk us through round one of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race from your perspective. P10 in the end.
Hello, guys. Well, I'm still winding down from the race because it was very difficult. As you saw, drafting played a big role in the race. So getting from the pack was basically the key to success. And before I could do that, more than 2/3 of the race were gone, and I at least managed to catch up the 12th and 11th place, which 11th and 10th place, which for me is a great success. But man, wow, how to describe it? Very difficult. Yeah, that's basically the best I think.
Yeah, it looked difficult. I mean, this track is often compared to an oval because you just have two massive straights followed by two massive corners, and there's a couple of chicanes in the middle. So people tend to bunch up. Who were you fighting with for most of the race? I don't think you were fighting with young Tommy V or Mauna Kassa for much of the race. Who were you fighting with most of the time?
True. Well, for me, it was surprising that I found myself Jarda and Michal, my fellow countrymen. And in the end, I think my kind of aggressive defense and mistake cost them better place, because with Michal, well, I don't remember exactly anymore what happened, but I think we had a contact and he had to slow down. And with Jarda, I made a mistake in the last chicane, and we tried to fit two into the one corner, but he bumped out away from my car to the outside, and I think he hit the tires or something, and as you can see, he's 16th in the end. So I think those two guys could have been better, and I had a really good fight with them and enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, we saw a lot of cars hitting the final tyre chicane, including Michael Malek, Kanako, and Jarda, who joins us in the commentary box now. Yaroslav, talk us through your race and your battle with Kid, if you don't mind.
Hello, gents. The race was absolutely amazing. You saw that on the stream. I started at P26, and after a couple of laps, I made my way up to P13, where I was battling with Kid and Michael, which is always very personal. You want to be a winner among your friends.
True.
And countrymen.
Yeah, exactly. But we are friends in real life, so it gets a bit personal. But anyway, the contact with Kid, that was a huge turning point in the race. For me, Kid described that pretty well, I guess. He was a bit late on the brakes. It opened up the inside, which becomes outside in the next corner, and we couldn't fit there. So briefly, I had to join the Aston ATC control for a while, for a couple of seconds, but when I landed, I found myself at P19, and I managed to gain 3 more spots. And in the end, I'm pretty upset because I finished only 500 of a second behind Michael.
Yeah, it was a pretty close battle up and down the field. Everyone finishing pretty close to one another. But that's what you get with this shorter format, I suppose. You guys, I guess you're going to compete for most of the year in RTFR. But what about XL? Do you fancy the longer format later on this month?
Well, I think that longer format is also a good idea because in shorter races people tend to rush their way forward, and in XL races everything is a bit more relaxing. So it has also something, and if I'm available, I will give it a shot. Definitely.
Good stuff. Well, thank you very much for coming to talk to us, Yada and Kid. We hope to see you in 2 weeks' time for the next instalment of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race. And maybe in the meantime at some of the other stuff we've got going on the broadcasts. So thank you very much, you two. Hope to see you then. So, Owen, let's wrap up today's action. A standout performance, of course, again by the Sidus team, Botsy and Rick Cardle, putting everyone else to shame, really, at the front. Anything to add?
Well, it's certainly tough in such a short period of time to make a name for yourself, but we saw drivers come up from the mid-pack up to the top, and other very quick drivers who just didn't quite get the stroke of fortune needed on race day. I'm sure we'll see a pattern emerge to see if Team Sidus can be stopped at any of the next combinations. But it's definitely great fun to see the drivers a little bit little bit more relaxed. They can chat while they play, and you can get sort of immediate input into what's happening. Like we saw one driver put their hands up and say that was my fault. So it certainly adds different flavour to the more down and downright serious stuff.
Yeah, it's good to be able to show some more light-hearted and fun racing, and everyone here is friends. There's no grudges really in RTFR, and we hope to keep it that way. Talking of the next combo for the RTFR series is coming up in 2 weeks' time, and for that we will be at South City Long in the UFR on Tuesday the 19th of January from the same time, 1850 UTC. We hope to see you along for that. Then later on in the month we have the return of RTFR XL. This will be at Kyoto National in the XRT, Tuesday the 26th of January at the same time. Both these series sponsored by WCL, €400 going towards the normal championship, the RTFR championship, and €100 going towards RTFR XL. If you want to see the details of the prize breakdown for that, you can check out the thread on the Live for Speed forum in Rony's Tuesday Fun Race section. Coming up this weekend on Sim Broadcasts, we have the return of NDR's GT2 Challenge live at 6 o'clock UTC from the Kyoto Ring National Circuit. You can sign up for that on the Live for Speed forum if you're interested. And on the same day, slightly earlier, brought to you by Travis Mellinger and Adam Brown, the fourth round of the BF1 League, organised by Master Race Car at the same track, Kyoto Ring National. So 2 races on the same day at the same track, one in the BF1 and one in the GT2s. We hope you can join us for those. I think that's just about everything we've got this evening, Owen. So all that's left to say is thank you to everyone for watching. We know that most of our normal viewers actually compete in RTFR, so we need to thank all of those guys for driving and everyone else for tuning in. We hope you can make the grid next time in what we hope to be another 40-car grid for RTFR. So thanks, Owen, and see you all next time. Good night.
Bye-bye.